Hi, sir. Good evening, and thanks for, in a short notice, agreeing to give an interview for Dalit Camera. Uh, Sir, could you introduce yourself a bit for the audience?
Well, I'm Dr. belongs to the Balmiki community, which is known in North India as Balmiki, though they are engaged in the sweeping and scavenging work. I was in service up to 2009. I was Joint Secretary, Ministry of Law and Justice. Then I was elevated to Judicial Member ITAT. So thereafter, in 2009, I retired from the service. So basically, before joining my government service and after joining my service, throughout this period, I have been an activist as well as a civil servant. So after retirement, I started my all social activities, particularly filing PIL in Supreme Court, giving legal aid to the poor people, fighting for the sweeper and scavenger. So this is my short kind of a introduction.
Sir, actually, you are from Valmiki community.
Yeah.
So that in northern India, there are Chamar, and there are Mangs, Mahars, and there are other communities also. In that level, you call yourself Valmikis. Why is that you have a separate identity, Valmikis? Don't this Chamar and others also treat you equally, or you don't consider you as of all as one? Sir, could you talk about your experience and how you see as a Valmiki as a separate form?
Well, you see, this identity is not created by ourselves. This identity is is already existing in the society. So we have ourselves not. We have not created ourselves this identity. So this identity is for many years. This identity we are having. So you can't say that we have created this identity. This is for years together to come, you see. So we are having this identity. So far as the other people are concerned, the other communities within scheduled caste, like Chamars in North India, Mahar in Maharashtra, Mala in Andhra Pradesh, and likewise in other states, dominant communities within scheduled caste. I have a very bad experience working with these guys because they don't have any interest for the welfare of the most downtrodden, most backward community within scheduled caste, such as sweepers and scavengers, Balmikis in North India, sweepers in the whole country. So they don't have any interest for the welfare of these people. And on the other hand, they are getting the benefits of reservation for the last more than 80 years, more than 80 years, Moti, more than 40, more than 80 years, they are getting the benefits, and they don't want to share these benefits with these poor community. That is the, I mean, bad part of the whole scheduled caste community. This is one reason why there is no unanimity. There is unity within the scheduled caste community.
Sir, could you talk about the discriminations? Is there any discrimination between Chamars and Valmikis? The way Chamar treats Valmikis, do they consider all of you equal, or else how do you see that?
Well, there is a lot of discrimination within scheduled caste. Firstly, there is a practice of they treat lower class as untouchables. They themselves started practicing untouchability with these sweepers and scavengers. So there is a lot of discrimination within scheduled caste. They never allowed to. They will not allow the sweepers community people to join government services. They will always dominate in the recruitment, and they will not give opportunity to other people also, because they are economically advanced, they are socially advanced, they are educationally advanced. Therefore, we people, the people who belongs to sweeper and scavenging community are not getting ample opportunity in government services. That is the basic dispute with the North India, with the sweepers community and the chamars community. This is the basic dispute. And now it is high time. This problem is getting worse and worse day by day. And that is the reason why we are fighting for our share in reservation. Now we want our share in reservation. We are questioning even the lawmakers where our share has gone. Kindly tell us what we got after the independence of this country, what this constitution has given to us. Only the broom, the chadu, or carrying the Neutzwal on our head. This is what we have achieved after the independence of this country.
Sir, could you talk about it? Is the fact what you are saying that the way they treat us and the way they treat Valmikis or the scavenging community across India, however they stand on our head and say that we are all fighting for all are united. So that's a very serious problem. That's true. So could you talk about some form of discrimination, like marriage functions? Do they marry from this Valmiki community, or do they, if any problem, what are the kinds of discriminations this chamars and other dominant communities like Malas or Parias or Pallars, such a dominant communities do on Valmikis?
Well, so far as intercaste or intercaste marriages are concerned, so there is no question of intercaste marriages in our community. Chamar people won't take our girl or our boy, or they won't give us their daughter, or we can't marry. I mean, we don't have any relationship between them. So that is the problem with everywhere, you see, even in Maharashtra also. So that same problem they people are facing. So we are not so much advanced so that we can get intercaste marriages and all.
So what has the BSP done for this, us, for Valmikis and others? BSP in even UP. Could you talk about a little more on BSP's politics in UP and the Valmikis' role in UP?
Well, BSP is basically a party of Chamar community, isn't it? So whatever BSP has done in UP, they have done for their own people. You forget about the sweepers and scavengers. They did nothing for the sweeper and scavenger in UP. Even I will give you one example. It's a very shocking kind of information. You see, there is a central government assistance for the rehabilitation of sweepers and scavengers. There are a lot of funds lying with the central government. During Mayawati regime, the fund was not used for the rehabilitation of sweeper and scavenger. And ultimately, the whole fund, central assistance fund was given to the UP, was returned to the government. So now you can appreciate what interest they have in our community. They have, as I told you earlier, they have no interest in the development of our community. So they did nothing. Even they did a very I must say that kind of a very absurd kind of a decision the Mayawati government took. They announced that they are going to recruit 1 lakh sweepers in the UP. This was around 2007, 8 and 9. Okay? But what she did, she introduced the reservation principle there also in recruitment of sweepers. Therefore, the 15% sweepers post were kept for a sweeping community, and rest of the vacancies, the post of sweepers were given to the other caste, Brahman, Thakur, Baniya, even in other dominant scheduled castes. So, meaning thereby, the whole burden of sweeping in the UP state again came on those sweepers and scavengers, the 15% sweepers and scavengers of the UP state. Now, you can't expect Brahman to do sweeping work. You can't expect Baniya to do sweeping work. You can't expect Thakur to do sweeping work. Then who will do this sweeping work? The remaining 15%, the only 15, or the sweeping community also. So this is another way of exploiting these poor people. Instead of helping them, instead of giving some kind of a assistance, financial or social assistance to these people, this was again a very, very dangerous kind of exploitation method. So, in totality, we can say that they have nothing in their heart for these poor community or the marginalized section of the Dalit community, including other community which are engaged in the menial kind of work. They don't have any interest for these community. These are the dominant community, and they whatever they are doing for their community only, for their welfare only. They have no interest for the other lower caste communities within the scheduled caste. Rather, they are exploiting, they are using these communities, their backwardness, their economic conditions, their educational conditions, for their own benefit. Isn't it? Did you follow what I am saying? Okay.
So now could you talk about the case? You are a Supreme Court advocate and you are dealing a case in the Supreme Court on one of the cases which you are dealing is on this reservation, asking to remove certain people from the reservation policy. Could you talk about in a length about why this argument and how are you facing that in front of the court and what are the process has taken?
You see, the problem of unequal distribution of benefits of reservation was first noticed immediately after the Constitution came into force. People started thinking that benefits are not going to the real beneficiaries. So they asking question to the Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and thereafter all the senior leaders that we are not getting the benefits of reservation. So in 1965, a central committee was appointed to see the effect of the policy of reservation, to see whether the benefits are going to the real beneficiaries or not. That was VN local committee that was appointed in 1964. Committee in 1964 recommended for exclusion of advanced communities from the schedule. The committee found that the benefits are going only to the dominant section of the scheduled caste community, like Mahar in Maharashtra, Chamar in North India, Mala in Andhra Pradesh. So likewise, right, like Meena in Rajasthan. The committee found that the benefits are not going to the real people, the real genuine people, the genuine beneficiaries. So they recommended for exclusion of these dominant castes from the schedule. But there were lot of strong people sitting right there in the center, like Babu Jagjeevan Ram. All dominant political leaders who were in the center, they protested against that report. Thereafter, in 1970, around 70, 72, Punjab government introduced reservation within reservation, a policy of reservation within reservation, so that other people could also get the benefit of reservation. Thereafter, in 1995, Haryana government on the same model introduced reservation within reservation. They made two categories, Haryana, Group A, Group B. 50% Group A, 50% Group B. Group A, there was 36 communities, and Group B, there was only one community, Chamar, in northern India. It's very interesting. 50% only one community and 50% remaining 36 community in Haryana. Anyway, but these kind of a policy were accepted by these people, our people also. This policy remain in force in 2000 up to 2004. Reason being, though there were lot of protest against this policy, or people went to High Court, up to Supreme Court, but they couldn't get any benefit. They couldn't get any relief. Now what happens is, in 2000, around 2000, one E.V. Chinaya in Andhra Pradesh, they filed a case in the Andhra Pradesh High Court against the policy of Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh also adopted the same policy of Haryana and Punjab. ABC reservation, reservation within reservation. So this E.V. Chinaya challenged this order, the policy of the Andhra Pradesh government in a High Court, in Andhra Pradesh High Court. Andhra Pradesh High Court decided this matter in favor of in favor of Madigas to give reservation. I mean, they upheld the bifurcation of reservation in Andhra Pradesh. But this E.V. Chinaya went to Supreme Court and filed an appeal against the order of the High Court Andhra Pradesh, isn't it? So the order came in 2004. The matter was decided. The matter was decided by the Supreme Court in 2004, saying that division, reservation within reservation is not constitutionally or legally permissible. They said you can't make a distinction within scheduled caste. Scheduled caste is one unit. You can't make classification. You can't make division within reservation. So that judgment was the reason, that judgment became the reason for abolishing reservation, bifurcation, reservation within reservation in Haryana, and also going to be the same fate is in of Punjab reservation. Now in UP, Raj Singh BJP government introduced the same principle, the same policy of reservation within reservation. But Mayawati, the moment Mayawati came in power,